Supposing you had a little bit of money spare. Supposing you had a lot of money spare. Supposing you didn't want the money that you have in the bank to lose value given the inflation, what could you do? Well, you could buy Bitcoin, but why would you do that? Why Bitcoin? That's what I'm going to be talking about in this video.
NordVPN is becoming more than just a VPN. Threat protection will guard your device against malicious websites, malware, trackers, and intrusive ads, even if you're not connected to a VPN server at the time. Step up your cybersecurity and stay safe.
Now, if you want to preserve your security and your privacy, go check out the OPOLO wallet, which I think is the most secure wallet going. Use my affiliate link for a discount. Hi everybody, this is Crypto Rich, working with you to get rich with crypto, filling our pockets with Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin. Bitcoin itself, but Bitcoin is a proxy term for cryptocurrencies. I'm joined by a very good friend of mine who does have a little bit of money, and he's going to talk about how he got that money, and he wants to know, well, where should I put it? And well, you know, I have a particular bias, and we'll be having that conversation. Now, before I introduce him, please subscribe, follow me on Twitter, CryptoRichYT. If you're watching this on YouTube and you're not subscribed to me on Odyssey, oh my God, you are missing out on some spicy, spicy stuff. And all it takes to subscribe to me on Odyssey is bit.ly/CryptoRichOdyssey. And just like signing up for YouTube is just an email and a password, same with Odyssey. Email and a password is really, really simple. And then you can get notifications if you like for when I post videos. I post videos on politics. I post videos on health. Done a couple of interviews recently with doctors about COVID and being healthy in general. I post videos, lots of interviews, and I post videos on crypto. All right, and this one is about crypto. Hey, Alex, thank you so much for making yourself available.
You're welcome. Nice to be back.
Yeah, and because we did a couple of videos a couple of months ago.
We did.
And one of the videos was about why I said you should take your daughter out of school. And you have subsequently done that. And we just recorded a video about how that's worked out. And people should go and watch that. But we also recorded a video on gold and silver, particularly silver, and why silver you think is such a great investment. Great. And we recorded a video about what people can see below us as they're watching this. They'll see our talking heads, and they can see your website looking for your way out of the rat race, receive a passive six-figure income within the next 7 years, and be part of a world-changing technology that will benefit mankind and the planet, all from a £15,000 investment. What is this about? Do you want to tell us in a nutshell?
Sure. It's a company that I was an early investor into over 20 years ago now. It's a private Australian energy company. Their initial breakthrough was in nuclear fusion. So they call it the holy grail of science. They cracked it. It's not hot fusion, it's not cold fusion, it's called muon catalyzed fusion. Basically means cheap renewable energy for all. That's their long-term project. They've stumbled onto a shorter revenue generating opportunity, which is a hydrogen-based technology that they call HERO, which means they'll be able to retrofit every coal or oil-fired power station on the planet with this HERO unit so that it runs on hydrogen, which means it's green overnight. It runs on a fraction of the footprint and uses a fraction of the energy. So up until now, for the last 20 years, they've pretty much been a research and development company. They're just on the cusp of commercialization. Dividends should start in the next couple of years, and the whole world wants to do business with them. So watch this space. They will be a global household name. Hardly anyone has heard of them right now, and there's an opportunity to get in. What's going to be, basically the ground floor. It's ridiculous. The figures, I worked out how much you need to invest now and what the returns are likely to projected to be, and that's where I came up with the title for the website.
Right, okay. And just on that, the company starscientific.com.au is their website. I'll have the link in the description below. I'll have the link to your website, and people can go through it to that, right, and find out more. It's fully regulated by within Australian jurisdiction. There's no limit on where people can buy. You know, you can be in the US or Britain or France or whatever, you can buy shares. The shares aren't traded on a public stock exchange, and they won't be because the company want to keep it private, so they got control over it. And some of the early investors are selling some of their shares, and I'll ask you why in a moment, and how much you put in and how much you're selling. And what you're offering is that people can get in touch with you. Oh, there's an interview that you and I did, an extensive interview, which is linked through that website, where you go into it in detail. We talk about it in detail. And people, if you're interested in finding out more, no obligation, you can go to the website. There's a link here to schedule a call with Alex wherever you are in the world, and he can answer all your questions and let you know how it's all going and what it's about. And they are, so for 20 years, they've been working on something like inventors, locked away in a lab, and then finally, eureka, they've invented something. They've got a contract with the Philippines government and contract with food manufacturing companies in Australia. And what they're providing is clean, green energy where the effluent, what the outcomes are, heat and water.
Correct.
Yes, those pollutants, heat and water, right? And at incredible low cost, with an incredible, very energy efficient as well, which isn't the case with solar panels and wind turbines and all that business. Okay, so how much did you put in? Why are you selling? And what are you going to do with that money?
Okay, so I invested 25 grand just over 25 years ago. Currently, that's worth 5 million.
It's 25,000 pounds.
Correct.
It's now worth 5 million pounds. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm selling just a small amount, like 5%, maybe 10% of my shares, to pay off some credit cards, pay off some debt, to diversify. As you know, I'm keen on silver, so I want to buy some more silver. I think that's gonna do its thing soon. And we want to start enjoying the good life. We want to start traveling. There's holidays. We want to take our various families away for Christmas. There's nice stuff we want to do. But yeah, it's about taking some money off the table and diversifying and shoring up our financial situation.
Fabulous. And how much are you looking to sell in pounds worth?
Like I said, maximum would be 10%, so that would be £500,000 worth.
Right.
I've got deals in the pipeline worth about 150 grand, so I'm still happy to sell another couple of hundred grand, 300 grand maybe.
And the 150 grand is from people who are looking to buy the shares that you were fortunate enough to get.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I will say I have introduced nearly 100 people to the company, to the investment over the years, just because I'm in that. I've got a business in finance, and so I've talked to people about it all the time and said, look, you need to get some silver, you need to get some shares in this company. It just so happens that I'm actually now selling some of my shares, so if people that I'm talking to are interested, rather than pointing them back to the company, I can say, well, you can have some of mine.
Yeah, no, I get it, and that makes sense, right? You make an investment in something, it works out really, really well. You've got to take some profits and then diversify. We took some profits. We've been taking profits from our Bitcoin investments for a few years now, and last year we were fortunate enough to pay off our mortgage, which wasn't going to happen for this social worker. Wasn't going to happen. Now, one of the things that when you and I talked about it, and I said, well, you're going to put any of your money in Bitcoin. You gave me the wrong answer. So this really is an opportunity to correct yourself and to find out why. But before, right? Because it is going to be like, I'm going to be saying to you why I think you should put some of it in Bitcoin, right? But what you could also do is put some of that money to use my affiliate code to buy an OPOLO wallet to keep your cryptocurrencies safe and secure, right? And then also this, a Keystone tablet. This is absolutely fabulous. Isn't that great?
That's very cute.
Yeah. And look, there's the other side of it. Don't you just want one of these?
Is that alien technology?
No, it's actually, I think it's steel or aluminium, brushed steel or something, or brushed aluminium. It's pretty heavy. But what it is, it's I want to make sure, very obscure stuff. It is a way of keeping the seed phrase secure. It's a Keystone tablet. It's the best thing I've found so far, right? And it's waterproof, fireproof, and use my affiliate link, get 1, get 2, get 3, split your seed phrase up, put it in different places, so nobody ever knows, because then nobody can get your crypto out of your OPOLO wallet. It's safe and secure. And also, of course, my NordVPN affiliate link. right? So that's what you should spend your money on, and use a VPN to encrypt all the data that goes in and out of your computer and your mobile phone. But
so keeping my seed phrase on my whiteboard in the office.
yes,
That's not a good idea.
Not a good idea. Or posting it on your Facebook account or your LinkedIn, not a good idea. And by the way, he hasn't really got it on his whiteboard, all right? Just so you're clear. Yeah. But you should use a NordVPN. So once you've spent some of your proceeds, right, what are you going to do with the rest of the thousands and thousands of pounds, right? Well, what you could do is put it into cryptocurrency, and in particular, in Bitcoin. So if you got gold, good. You got silver, good. I would also recommend Bitcoin. And here's where you say, why? And then we have that conversation.
Why should I do that, Rich?
Because it's good. That's right. So, but none of this is investment advice, by the way. And do not put in any more than you can afford to lose, right? I didn't put in, that's what my wife and I did. We didn't put in any more than we could afford to lose back in 2013. And it's worked out very, very nicely. We've put more in subsequently. And we've also taken stuff out, right? We've done very, very well. And I'm always accruing more and more crypto. Okay, so you get the value of gold and you get the value of silver. They are money, right? And why are they money? Just to run it through, if people don't know, and money is distinct from currency. So the dollar, the pound, the euro, the yen, that's currency. It's not the same as money. Currency is a promise to pay. Currency came about with gold dealers. Instead of people carrying their gold coins about to trade and transact with, they left it with a gold dealer, with a custodian who gave them a certificate, and then people started trading those certificates. Those certificates are currency. It's a promise to pay. And up until August, I think August the 15th, 1971, the dollar was backed by gold. It was redeemable for gold, and now it's free floating, so it's not backed by anything. That's a currency. It's a promise to pay. It's also a debt. How currency gets created is through the issuance of debt. Not the case with gold, not the case with silver, not the case with Bitcoin. They are tokenized forms of energy. Because the other thing about currency is you and I aren't in this privileged position, but the banks in England are, governments are, banks everywhere are, where, you know, the HSBC in Britain, over 90% of the pounds in circulation are created by the banks. You know, you want to take out a loan, you pay something on your credit card, they don't have the money on account in the back. They just press a button, it gets created. It takes no energy whatsoever to press a button and create money. Can't do that with gold. Can't do that with silver. Can't do that with Bitcoin. It takes work to create them. So they can't be inflated away. And then the work that it takes. So initially, you know, with Bitcoin, to produce the Bitcoin, to run a computer program. Some of this I think you know, Alex, right? But for people who don't know, it runs a computer program which is dispersed all over the place. There isn't one point that, oh, I can change it, because you'd have to change the code on all the computers that are running this code. And there isn't the computing power to do that. Just not possible because it's decentralized. It's like trying to get rid of ants' nests. You know, try and get rid of ants' nests in a field in England. You just can't do it because it's just so dispersed. Never mind trying to do it all over the world. They just keep popping up everywhere. We can't get rid of them. That's the strength of the Bitcoin's network. It's that decentralized. There's no single point of failure. So you can't change the code to make it easy. But originally, when Bitcoin was first launched, there weren't many miners. That's what it's called, running the code, mining it. So there was lots and lots of Bitcoin to be found. A bit like originally, I mean, nowadays the mines in South Africa are 2 miles deep to get a tiny amount of gold. Tiny amount, you've got to go 2 miles deep because all the easy gold has been extracted. All the gold that was 5 meters underground has been extracted. And it didn't take so much energy to get that gold that was 5 meters underground. So it didn't cost as much. Same with silver. So it's the amount of work, it takes work to produce gold, silver, and Bitcoin. So it can't be inflated away. And then what gold, silver, and Bitcoin and currency are is an exchange of that value of energy. Okay, it took this much energy, this much work to produce this, which represents this product, this service. So do you get how Bitcoin is equivalent to gold and silver in that regard?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and then it's got other properties of money and other properties of currency. So it's divisible. Gold is divisible, but Bitcoin is easier to divide because it's you can divide it digitally. You know, with a gold sovereign, I can get a half a sovereign or a quarter sovereign, but I can't divide it myself. I have to purchase those, right? It's divisible. Go on.
It can be a store of value.
It's a store of value, which is certainly the case because I've got my Bitcoin locked away in a hardware wallet, storing and gaining value as more and more, there's more and more growing acceptability. And I'll talk about that in a moment with the seed phrase in this Keystone tablet, tucked away nice and secure and safe and spread through several Keystone tablets. So it's a store of value, a medium of exchange. It's divisible. It's fungible. So what that means is that 1 ounce of silver is the same as another ounce of silver. However, one leaf from a sycamore tree is not the same as another leaf from a sycamore tree. It might be of different size, different age, right? Which is one reason why we don't use leaves for money. So fungible means that it's the same. It's standardized. So Bitcoin, one Bitcoin is pretty much the same as any other Bitcoin. 1 ounce of gold is the same as another ounce of gold. Then the other thing about it is that it's durable. There were several states in the United States that used tobacco leaves as money for a while. So people carried tobacco with them. But tobacco leaves aren't durable. They dry up and disappear into dust. So you don't want your money disappearing into dust. So it's got to last over time. So gold, silver, and Bitcoin are durable. Then also portable, which means you've got to be able to carry it around, which I think Bitcoin has an advantage over gold and silver. It's way more portable than that. You know, when I go to the US or Pakistan, I don't take my wallets with me. No. I remove everything off my devices, but I may have the seed phrase accessible some way, written down on different pieces of paper that I can then resurrect my wallet if I wanted to. Don't store your seed phrase electronically, by the way. A friend of mine lost 6 Bitcoin that way. Sent it by mobile text to her father. And then it got stored, the text gets stored or transacted through a computer server. And there are bots scraping the server looking for seed phrases. Bye 6 Bitcoin. Which is why you really want to have, boy, am I going for the plug here, right? You really want to have a Keystone tablet. Right, so let me see, I've got some notes here, so I make sure I cover everything. Portable, divisible, fungible, durable, and acceptable, which means by agreement, there has to be enough agreement. Like in the marketplace for people to transact it. And with currencies, you know, the currencies are durable, they're portable, they're divisible, they're fungible, they're acceptable because the government says so, but until the market decides they're not. And increasingly, the market is deciding that Bitcoin is a form of money. And why Bitcoin is a form of money and not currency, or actually, no, there's a couple of things about currency which are major flaws. They're not scarce. Money has to be scarce. Gold is worth as much as it is because it's scarce. You know, tin doesn't have the same value as gold because tin is way more abundant. Same with nickel. But currency lacks scarcity because the government can just keep producing it. You can't do that with Bitcoin. Can't just keep producing Bitcoin. Limited supply determined by the code that can't be changed. And like I said earlier, currency is not tokenized energy. Gold, silver, and Bitcoin are. Now, does that answer some of your questions?
It does.
Anything remaining? Let's talk. That was me saying quite a bit.
It was. No, it's fine. I would. So, of those characteristics of money, the ones that I feel that Bitcoin is less strong than, let's say, gold and silver, are the durability. Gold and silver have been a store of value and well used for the last 5,000 years.
Yep.
So I don't know when Bitcoin was launched, but within our lifetime.
2009, January 2009.
Yeah. So, a cynical mind might say, well, let's give it 50 years and see if it lasts.
Sure. Sure, and that would be sensible as well. It may not, you know, and I agree with you. Gold and silver have stood the test of time, but they also have their weaknesses, which is, you know, silver. You can't really use silver to buy a house, right? But you can't use gold to buy a pint of milk.
I totally take your point.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is much more portable.
Yeah, and then also,
if I had to flee the country in a hurry,
forget it with silver. It ain't going to happen with silver. You just sell the silver for Bitcoin to get out, right? Yeah. But the other thing about gold and silver is they run the same risk that Bitcoin does, which the government can outlaw them. You know, Roosevelt did that. I think it was Roosevelt, that they declared that you couldn't hold gold, the government would buy it off you, and people in the US couldn't hold gold until the early 70s when they changed the law because the government made it illegal, right? Now the government could say the same thing about Bitcoin, disappear the on-ramps for exchanging Bitcoin into fiat currency, except I think what would happen is that people would transact in Bitcoin anyway. You know, governments make all sorts of things illegal, like child abuse, and people carry on with it, right? Or that, you know, smoking marijuana is illegal in most countries. People do it anyway because of its decentralized nature. And I think it's wise to diversify. Gold, silver, and Bitcoin. Bitcoin hasn't got the history of gold and silver, true, but boy, is it catching on fast.
I'm aware.
Yeah. Boy, is it catching on fast. You know,
family offices and sovereign wealth funds piling into it. It's become institutionalized.
It is becoming. It hasn't as yet, right? You know, it's an opportunity for little players like you and I to get in. There's no way I could have paid off my mortgage as a social worker without Bitcoin. No way at all. I don't have access to that sort of investment opportunity. But was it somebody told me about some? I'm not going to say their name, right? Somebody's really, really big in the crypto space, been around forever. They bought Bitcoin for 10 cents each. I don't know how much they bought, but they now hold, this person owns 330,000 Bitcoin. Now, assuming they bought it at 10 cents each, which I don't know, we may have just started buying then, right? That would have been £33,000, sorry. That $33,000 is now worth over $8.5 billion. Gold ain't doing that. I remember when 1 Bitcoin exceeded the value of 1 ounce of gold. And now 1 Bitcoin, I don't know what an ounce of gold is in dollar terms, but 1 Bitcoin will buy you 11 ounces in pounds. Yeah. Right. Now, don't put it any more than you can afford to lose. But given what's happening in the fundamentally, where governments are printing money like crazy, where the Western Bloc nations are sanctioning Russia, and Russia has said they're going to use Bitcoin for international trade. India has done that. Argentina has done that, has used Bitcoin for settlement. And was it Bitcoin this morning was about $27,500? Well, it's not that the value of Bitcoin has gone up. It hasn't. The purchasing power of the fiat dollar has gone down. And it's going to keep going down. And with gold and silver, they're highly manipulated. You know about the naked shorting that goes on. Yeah. Now, Bitcoin's also manipulated, but it's not so easy because there aren't the derivative markets. So what somebody can do to manipulate Bitcoin, a big whale can do, is sell a whole bunch of Bitcoin, drop the price, and then go back in and buy it again. But it's risky because somebody else could come in and buy a whole load of Bitcoin. They lose their Bitcoin, right? The original seller. But with gold and silver, because I think you know the answer, right? I think you know the answer to this, Alex. What is the ultimate form of money?
I've never heard that question phrased. What is the ultimate form of money? Go on, tell me.
Well, the foundation of all money.
Trust?
No, it's gold. It's gold. Everything is measured against gold. Ultimately, gold is it. Silver is measured against gold. Bitcoin is measured against gold. All the fiat currencies are measured against gold, but not necessarily directly. You know, Bitcoin is usually measured against dollars, and so is silver, but the dollars are measured against gold. And in order to make the dollar look strong against gold, what the custodian banks, what they do in the COMEX and the LBMA, is they sell lots and lots of paper gold to crash the price of gold to make the dollar look strong. Because if the dollar begins to lose value against gold, what are people going to do? They're going to sell their dollars. And they're going to buy up gold. And the price of gold will go through the roof, the price of dollar will crash, and the US will lose its status as the world reserve currency, which is losing anyway because of the amount of money printing.
So I know with silver that there's 20, this is what I heard anyway, there was 20 times more paper silver in circulation than there is physical silver.
Yeah.
So like a game of musical chairs, at some point, 20 people are going to try and claim on that 1 ounce of silver, and 19 are going to realize that all they have is a worthless bit of paper.
Yeah.
And the person who's actually got it in their vault will win the day.
Yep. But the contract says when people buy contracts in gold and silver, that they can be settled in cash. So it really takes something to get the physical when you purchase a contract, because they don't want you to, because the silver market, silver and gold are both traded on the currency markets, foreign exchange markets, against dollar and pound and yen and all of that, right? So is Bitcoin. But I don't think to the same degree. Bitcoin's traded independently on the crypto exchanges, but with the silver market is much, much smaller and could break the peg between silver and dollar before gold and dollar does, because silver is used up as an industrial metal. It's in this computer screen, it's in our mobile phones, on the solar panels that I have. There's an ounce in my Prius. It's all over the place. And it gets used up, doesn't get recycled. So silver is good. Have silver. Gold is good. It is the ultimate form of money. Have gold. But you've got to have Bitcoin too. Now, what other arguments or questions do you have? Arguments against holding Bitcoin, they'd be great. And or any questions that you have?
I don't think I have any other arguments against it. I don't think I have any other questions. I know that it's gaining traction. And I have dabbled in the past with a couple of crypto, with a couple of coins. Me and a friend got in early and mined a couple of the altcoins. But I've never directly owned any Bitcoin. So yeah, I'm not ruling it out.
Sure. Well, I think you should move quickly, right? Or you could wait until it's more expensive, which is like my cousins did. My banker cousins, all finance trained. I told them in 2013, they started buying in 2017, and then they got upset when it crashed. And then when it was at $3,500, I said, "Listen, buy some more." And then they didn't until it was $30,000. So you may be like them. You want to wait till it's more expensive, right? Right.
That's what humans do, right? They wait till something's expensive, and then they buy it, and then when it goes down, they sell it.
Yeah. That's what human beings do, right? Don't be a human, Alex. Okay.
Yeah.
But with regard, it does take work, right? But then with regard to your investment in the hydrogen technology, it took work. You had to do a bit of work.
Sure.
And you had to look into it, do your own diligence, investigate it, check it all out, work out how much you could put in comfortably without losing it or anything like that, right? Same deal with Bitcoin. You've got to do work. You've got to work out how it, how would you buy it? How would you store it? How would you sell it? All that sort of stuff, which is why I don't cover so much that stuff on my channel, but I know that, you can find those sorts of videos easily on, you can find them on that other censored platform, YouTube. There's loads of stuff there, but also you'll be able to find stuff like that on Odyssey and Rumble and BitChute. And one of the things that I am developing over the next few weeks or so is I'm actually going to be doing seminars for a select handful of people. Like, if you want to know about Bitcoin, you know a bit about it, you're interested in knowing more with a view to possibly buying some, then it's really going to be a beginner's guide. And it won't be a video or anything. It'll just be me on Zoom talking to people. By the way, if anybody's interested in that, let me know in the comments below. All right, there will be a charge for it because I do have children to feed and things like that, right? It's not a charity. I work for a living.
I do have one more question.
Yes, please.
I'd like your expert knowledge and insights What is Bitcoin going to be worth a year from today?
It's going to be worth 100 million, billion, trillion, million, billion, unless it's not. So here's what I can guarantee, like no kidding, no kidding. Bitcoin, the price will go up, except when it goes down or moves sideways. That's the best answer I can give, right? But are you familiar with the 4-year cycle for Bitcoin?
Yes.
Okay, so people who don't know, every 4 years, the amount of new Bitcoin that get released is halved. So every 10 minutes, a certain amount of Bitcoin gets released, and every 4 years, that amount that gets released every 10 minutes is halved. So there's this inbuilt scarcity, just like when you mine for gold, every few years you have to go deeper and deeper and deeper. You have to use more energy, use more energy, use more energy. Same deal with Bitcoin. And what that does is it creates this pressure on the price. And so far what Bitcoin has done, it's gone down for a year, the bear market, and then a 3-year up market. And usually the price moons a year after the halving. And the next halving is in 2024, which means we could be looking at peaks of 2025. Now, how much could it be worth in 2025? Each high has been far in excess of the previous bull cycle. So every 4 years. So when I got in, the high was $1,200. That was in 2013. Then the next all-time high in 2017 was just under $20,000. Then the one in 2021, if I remember correctly, was $69,000. So the next one, much, much more. But if they keep producing fiat the way that they're doing, then yeah. So, I mean, people talk, I don't know, but maybe 500,000 at least. Maybe at some point it'd be worth $1 million. I would recommend it as a long-term hold. I could have sold my Bitcoin at $1,000 or at $5,000, but I didn't. Okay. Anything else?
I think you've covered it.
Okay. So you're going to put any money in Bitcoin?
I don't know right now. I need to wait for the various deals that I've done to come in.
Right. Okay.
And we've got a sort of list of priorities of where the money's going, including, a family holiday, taking both families away for Christmas, putting a certain amount into silver. So we're just working our way down the list.
Okay.
So at some point, it may well be in there.
All right. Well, I'll come and see you and have a look at your list and make some adjustments. Right. And I'll do it as a favor to you, Alex. Don't worry. Right. But one really. Sorry.
That's very kind of you. Thank you.
Not at all. Not at all. I won't even charge you, mate. So one really simple strategy, right, is you buy a bit of Bitcoin, no more than you can afford to lose. You put it in a hardware wallet, which keeps it secure and offline, with the seed phrase secure and offline in a Keystone tablet, and then you forget about it. Come back in 4 years, 8 years, 12 years. That's it. Okay? All right, Alex, listen, thank you so much. If anybody is interested in knowing more about these courses when I launch them, let me know in the comments below. Please share this video far and wide. And between now and when I see you next, please keep filling your pockets with crypto profits. This is Crypto Rich and Crypto Alex signing out. All the best. Oh, and do check out his that investment, because I will be getting into that myself. All the best. Bye-bye.